The wonders of the human body are many, and without a proper guide, we are lost in its corridors. That is why I have enlisted radiology student Moist Andy to guide you through the labyrinth of the body's many splendors and help you get on the path to good health.
Hello, I'm Angelo, and here with me in the FlyingOverTr0ut Health Studio today is my guest, Moist Andy, longtime friend of our channel. Moist Andy,
hello.
How are you doing?
I'm great. You know, I'm just continually getting better with my good health, being physically active, just eating right, doing all the right things. You know, I'm not messing around.
So what qualifies you to give health information and health tips?
You know, I've been in a clinical experience. I've been working in a hospital as an x-ray tech. I'm a student to become an x-ray tech because I just thought it would be, you know, a good mix of different patient types, a whole bunch of people from all walks of life. I see them, I take their x-rays, and I just get to take a visual, a taste for what the health deficiencies are for all of Americans. I get to see generally just the general health of the population, and it kind of helps me to make changes in my lifestyle so that I don't end up really just, you know, unhealthy, in and out of the hospital, getting all kinds of treatments that I don't need. I want to stay away from the care of doctors as much as possible. If I need it, I'm cool with that. I'll go see the doctor. But you know, I can take steps to help myself live a longer life. And that's what it's all about.
Well, that's great, and definitely you want to stick around to the end of this video to make sure you get all of Moist Andy's health tips. So I guess let's start out with how long have you been a radiology student / radiology tech in training?
Well, I've been in the hospital. I first started out there sometime in November in 2016, and then I've been working there ever since like a couple weeks ago, and now I've finished my spring semester, so I'm about to switch over to a whole other hospital right now. So I've been working at this for about almost a year.
Yeah, right. As of today, it's May 2017,
yeah.
In case you're watching this in the future. So how's your view of health changed from when you started studying to today?
Well, you know, I just never realized how bad it could get and how some people just neglect their bodies. It's just terrible. It's tragic. You know, there's people that they've got a disease process and they just forget about it and pretend like it's not happening to them. They're in complete denial, and then they don't treat it until the last minute, and that shaves off 10 or 20 years off of their potential lifespan.
Now, why is that? Why don't people want to get treatment for what they have, especially if it's something that's curable or you can maybe prolong your life and your quality of life, and you can improve it?
It's just part of the fear. They're in the grieving process. They're grieving the potential life that they wanted to have, but they know that they're never going to reach that level of health ever again. And so they're just like, well, this is happening to me. I'm just going to accept it, that I'm wasting away. And so they just stop seeing the doctor. Like, for example, if they've noticed they get a lump or a swelling, like a hernia, inguinal hernia, like an older middle-aged gentleman starts noticing it in his 50s, he forgets about it all the way till he's 60, starts causing like a bowel obstruction or something like that in his small bowel. Then he has to go, because it's a surgical emergency, you can't just ignore that. You know, the necrotic bowels is a death sentence. You can't survive that. So these people, they notice something small it progresses more and more because they don't seek preventative treatment, and then they die earlier.
Now, when a person like that discovers a lump or a growth, at first, that sounds like it's something not only you should go to the doctor right away, but it could potentially be very curable, right?
Oh yeah, you could easily cure it early, but once you get to later stages, your chances of surviving something like that, it's very, very slim, and it'll shave off a whole bunch of years off your potential lifespan, which is just completely unnecessary. You can take steps now to fix everything and get back to normal with your health. And we're here to talk about how herbal medicine can integrate into your life to improve you, and so you can become a healthy person again. You don't have to accept being, a victim of unnecessary health practices. You can do the early treatment and prevention of your disease or whatever when the time comes, when you get to be an older individual. You get to be able to make these changes, whether you can live 20 years later or die 20 years earlier than you would expect to.
So, and we should mention, just as general rule, follow your doctor's advice. We're not doctors. This is just our opinions that we're giving out here, just to, put that out there as far as, don't claim we told you go out and do anything. This is all take everything in incorporation with what you research and what you learn from your doctor. But I relate to that because I had that fear too, and I still do in a way, always, of going back to a doctor and getting checked, because I'm always sure I'm going to get the worst possible news. And in my case, I delayed getting a physical. I didn't get one for like 10 years. I got one. I was lucky in my case. Everything turned out fine except my cholesterol. And with 3 months of diet and exercise, I got my cholesterol way down. So I was fortunate in that case. It turned out well for me. And not only turned out well, I needed to know the cholesterol issue, because that was something that could potentially severely decrease my quality of life or shorten my life.
Yeah, you need cholesterol to synthesize certain hormones so you can function properly, but you don't just go out and eat cheeseburgers all the time and fried foods and stuff. You have to eat right. This is the key. You have to have a high fiber diet, and you gotta cut out, I'm telling you this right now, you cut out your carbs completely, because guess what? Carbohydrates, they burn down, and it's a dirtier process of getting the energy out of them than if you were to get most of your calories from fats and proteins. So you have to actually think about this. How many carbs are you eating every day? Is it 150 grams, 300 grams? You have to actually look, just observe your diet and slowly dwindle those down, replace those calories with something like animal fats. Eat a lot of salmon, eat some sardines, get some chicken's good. Chicken is nice. As long as it's really good, properly prepared, you get some chicken, So just think about these things in your life.
I've heard if you cut down on carbohydrates too drastically, you can get sick from that. You'll have headaches potentially, and just won't feel well.
If you're diabetic, that might happen. See, this is just advice. You don't have to do any of this, but I'm trying to point you in the right direction. If you want to reverse your type 2 diabetes, slowly replace those carbs with fats and protein to get your daily caloric intake. So to start off here, I want to ask you, how many people have you known with like lower back pain and knee pain?
Quite a few, including myself. I've had knee pain.
Well, this is one of the most common things people go to see their doctor for. And guess what they tell you? They tell you, go take a Tylenol, go take some ibuprofen, and you'll feel much better, and that's all. And if it's not like something they can correct surgically, that's what they will tell you. Is spinal stenosis, a narrow joint space, whatever it is, if it's minor, they're not going to recommend surgery for you. But these things, these ibuprofens, are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And what they actually do is they damage the regenerative inflammatory processes that actually retain the cartilage in your joints. So the ibuprofen actually speeds up things like rheumatoid arthritis, and the joint space gets narrower and narrower, and you just keep taking these drugs until you have to get the joint replaced.
Fascinating. What do you think of fish oil as a supplement to treat joint pain? I've heard it's good for lubricating the joints, and I eat fish. And one thing real quick I want to mention, I want to back up, is high fiber diet to cut down cholesterol. That's absolutely what I did. And animal fats like salmon and organic chicken. That's how I was able to get my cholesterol down from 280, which is way high, to 160, or like 282 to 162 in 3 months.
Well, fish oil is great and all that, but I don't believe in supplementation unless your doctor recommends it. Like, don't go taking vitamins because you just end up excreting most of it all out. It's a waste of money. What you have to do is go get a little can of tuna, a can of sardines, some smoked oyster. It's beautiful. It tastes amazing in a salad. You can just mix it up. And the fish is nice because the omega-3 fatty acids will help to break down the LDL, bad cholesterol in your blood, so that it can be eliminated from your body. It won't damage your arterial wall. It'll just drastically improve your health if you get some omega-3s.
Yeah, we're going to eat some sardines after this.
Yeah, but you know this flax oil thing? A lot of people taking flax oil to get their omega-3s, right? But what happens is, if you're not actually grinding up this flax seed while it's fresh, the oils that you buy from the grocery store, the health food store, they go rancid. And they increase, free radicals. You know what that is? They boost the oxidative stress in all your tissues. So no rancid oils, no vegetable oils, no peanut oils, none of that lard. You don't need any of that.
Now, you're a radiology student, so how do you know about all this stuff? Did they teach this in your classes?
I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and I just gain, a lot of information from that. And I apply it to my personal life. I experiment with different diets on myself, and I choose, for me, what is the best. And I'm very set in my ways now. I mean, I see the truth of how you can improve your health forever using just diet and exercise, and avoiding all the bad things and promoting good, promoting wellness.
I'm 32 now, and I wish I knew about this stuff when I was your age, like 20, 21, because I did eat a lot of junk food over the years, and anything I'll eat, I'll rationalize as, well, if it's red meat and cheese, it's probably necessary for my muscles if I'm exercising. And anything else greasy, I figure just somehow, well, it's got oil in it, it's like omega-3 fats. And that physical to the doctor made me realize, oh, that all that stuff I had to cut out. I never eat cheeseburgers. I don't think I'll ever eat one again. I try and cut down on cheese greatly. I'll eat almonds, raw almonds, black beans. What do people in general need to know about their dietary habits and eating that you just notice when you're out, when you see people, maybe your family, your friends, classmates?
The most important thing is to balance everything out. And if you ever have to go to a restaurant because of social obligations or something, get like a chicken Caesar salad, and you can get some of the appetizers as long as they're not fried and fatty, But the most important thing, I think, is just to get your, if you're going to choose to eat carbs, to eat them with fiber, because that slows down the digestion of the carb, and it just seeps into your body slowly rather than spiking your blood sugar and damaging you with diabetes. You don't need all that. You have to just eat like whole grains. I don't recommend grains at all in general, because you see they're carbohydrates. They've got that glucose in there. You can get all your calories using ketones. If you go look up the ketogenic diet, you can promote ketoacidosis. You can break down fats and proteins rather than carbohydrates and glucose, which is a dirtier form of energy, you know?
Now, I do eat carbohydrates, and I told you this, that the other day, and once in a while, I'll feel really low on energy even though I've slept well, dehydrated even though I'm drinking like 10 bottles of water a day, and I'm just sitting, I'm not even doing much. And it really annoys me. And then I thought, well, maybe I need more carbs. And so I would eat a whole grain for a bagel healthy from Dave's Killer Bread. People know I like them a lot. Or I'll have steel cut oatmeal, which I hear is better than rolled oatmeal, and that was something I incorporated every day to help cut down on my cholesterol. But are you saying that those are unnecessary, or those are potentially harmful?
Yeah, because, you know, they have the wheat, it's growing in the field. It's just a massive production to get all that wheat. They put pesticides on it, MSG, whatever, GMO. You don't know what you're eating. So essentially, unless it's organic and you're rich and you can afford that type of diet, you don't know what you're eating. So it's much better to just go and get a piece of salmon, or get a nice piece of lean red meat from the butcher, and you know exactly what you're getting. You know, get some fresh veggies, go to the vegetable aisle and just pig out on all kinds of nice red bell peppers, celery, cruciferous vegetable, all kinds of stuff. You know, I make a big salad every weekend, like either it's a Waldorf salad or some kind of salad that I just made up using the mandolin slicer, just chopping all kinds of vegetables up in there, mixing it with some nice tasty dressing. I put caraway seed, I put mustard seed, I put all kinds of mayonnaise, and it's really something that I can do to make sure that I'm eating healthy on the weekends. Put some walnuts, raisins in there, it's good stuff.
What differences can people notice if they eat, and I'll back up, peppers too. I eat bell peppers almost every day for breakfast with black beans or kidney beans if I can help it. My roommates, I think they took the can of black beans that I bought. That's not good. What kind of differences can people notice in their health long term, in particular, if they switch to a diet like that? Because you won't necessarily notice right away benefits.
Well, what you're going to be doing with these fresh vegetables, colorful vegetables, is you're going to be reducing your oxidative stress levels on all your tissues. You're going to be knocking those free radicals out of the park. You're going to be completely blown away with all this change you're going to see if you just avoid whole grains, if you avoid even rice, and you switch over to just animal fats and proteins from nuts and legumes like black beans, and if you have a bunch of fresh veggies in your diet.
And what do you think of how the proliferation of junk food you see everywhere? And I only really noticed it once I started switching to more healthy food and realizing what my options are to eat. Like, oh, I shouldn't eat here because it's all, you know, cheeseburgers and high calorie, high saturated fat food. You know, a lot of places just can't go, and whole aisles in the grocery store I won't even touch, and won't even go in the section with all sodas and chips. What do you think of that? Like, as far like what that does to us, and how many people you end up with either problems in the hospital because of those, or their problems are made worse because of those kinds of foods?
Well, if you're getting way too many cholesterols, more than you can process and eliminate, you end up with these gallstones. They build up. The gallbladder is filled with concentrated bile, and they crystallize little stones, rocks in your body. And if it blocks it up, you have to get that surgically removed. Boom, you're in the hospital. It happened to a friend of mine, and the doctors said that they've seen people in her condition not make it through getting a gallbladder surgery. So, you know, it's important to just avoid in general the unhealthy to promote the wellness. And, you know, one of the critical things is hydration. I used to drink 3 gallons of water a day. Now I just drink 1 gallon. You know, I was thirsty for some reason. I can't figure it out to this day. How was I so thirsty that I could just drink 3 gallons of water?
It's a lot of water.
Chugging water all the time, going to the bathroom every 20 minutes.
What advice do you have for people in the medical field? Because you've talked about your thoughts about doctors. You have some strong thoughts in hospitals. And maybe advice for people who could one day end up in the medical field, because we need those people. We need more of them, and we need them giving good advice. You know, everybody hates seeing a bad doctor. I've seen bad doctors before. You probably have as well. All the schooling and training they go through is no guarantee that they're going to, you know, give you the right advice or give you the right diagnosis or even care about you when you're in their office.
Well, what I recommend is you go find yourself a chiropractor, because see, a lot of these medical doctors, they specialize in one profession, like gastroenterology or a dermatology or just a general practice, whatever. But if you see a chiropractor or a neurologist, the nervous system of the body, it integrates everything else, it controls everything. And if you can find a doctor that understands the nervous system and how it can affect so many disease processes, well, you're in luck. Look up Dr. John Bergman. He will teach you a lot of this same stuff because he's a chiropractor and he understands how like a poor nervous control of your musculature will lead to like a scoliosis or a kyphosis or some spinal stenosis. He understands this stuff, you know. If your spine is kind of crooked, if you got a hunchback going on, that's your body's adaptation to be able to expand the space in the bone for the nerves and the blood vessels to go through, because your body's trying to adapt to toxic blood, a toxic environment. And so scoliosis and kyphosis and all this stuff, it's directly a result of toxic blood. Your nervous system's trying to change these things to promote and to make the nerve more viable.
Next time on FlyingOverTr0ut's Health Corner with Moist Andy.
And I just stopped eating everything for like 3 days.
Keep going, I'm just going to get some water. Talking about being hydrated here.